Apple introduced iOS 18 a while ago, and it's about to be released in September this year. With this iOS release, we have seen a bunch of improvement and revamp to the Apple ecosystem, the productivity I mean. Calendar application was completely revamped in terms of UI. Note application got the math notes. Voice memo has transcribed now, and we have a journal application. And of course, reminders, which didn't get much, but it has an integration with calendar application now. So in this video, I'm planning to compare it to third-party applications and show you if it's usable for you to shift completely to the Apple ecosystem. And it will have the benefit of $0 subscription. And a lot of fluff will be put away that you get with third-party applications. So let's discover. In the calendar application, if I open it, you will see immediately that the month view is much more usable now. They turned a completely miserable application into something that is usable. So in the month view, I can expand and collapse the events. I can have a view of my full week. And the best of all, if I go to today, I have a multi-day view, which means that I can see more of my days ahead. There's a ribbon up here, exactly same as what Fantastical does it, and it slides you through the days. And what I love about calendar application, and it made me use it a lot, is drag and drop in these multi-column views. I can easily drag one event and drop it anywhere in the schedules. And I can even change the duration of these events via these two handles that I get. So beside that, I have reminders. I can see all my reminders here. And I believe this is something that you can completely rely on in terms of usability and user experience. So what is still lacking in calendar application I was wishing to see, and a lot of people also pointed out in the previous video I created in the comments. One is the color-coded events. Of course, it would be something nice to have instead of creating multiple calendars. Now, I wish I could create an event in single calendar with a different color, with a customized color that I would see. This would help me segregate one event to others, one type of event at least, and gave me better visibility in my schedule when I was looking at my day overall. Another thing is integration. A couple of people pointed out that they still can't use Apple Calendar because of the integration, for example, for work applications like Zoom, Teams, which is sensible. I personally, every company that I worked for was using Microsoft Exchange 360, and with Apple Calendar application, the integration is usable because I can join meetings, I can see my events, I can have the two-way sync, and I haven't seen any problem with that. But yeah, I understand that a lot of people might need certain applications that the calendar application is still not providing. Fantastical does it. Other thing which is minor is alert. So right now in calendar application for each event, I can create 2 alerts. I wish it was more. And something else which is making a lot of sense, since they created the integration with reminders, I wish they provided a view for me to see a list of to-dos that I created using reminder in my inbox, and then I could just drag and drop in my calendar to schedule them. But it's not possible. This is something like Amy does it, and I think Fantastical also does it. You can drag and drop your to-do directly because reminders are integrated well, and you can just swipe to see the reminders in another view. Reminder application is also usable at the moment thanks to calendar. So this integration makes reminders even more usable. But reminder on its own wasn't lacking much. I mean, other than UI that could be revamped, there are not much I can think of. But yeah, there are still some minors that I will go through. So I personally shifted from Todoist to reminders. First thing that I missed is, of course, being cross-platform, because some of my to-dos are coming from Windows, which I use for work. and I don't have it here. If I want to use iCloud, the interface for reminders is still lacking. It's not very usable. But I will show you the strength of it. So let's go to a reminder, for example. I have date, I have time of an event, and something that I don't have in other applications, third-party application, is early reminder, which I found very useful. Like exactly like a calendar event. Like if I want to receive an early reminder before the event starts or before my to-do. The repeat is very customizable. I have basically any kind of customization that I can do to it. Tags, I have tags, location-based reminders, message-based reminders. When I'm messaging someone, then the reminder will appear. I can flag, set priority, add it to certain list, create subtask, and add image. Something that I wish to see was adding file as an attachment, because sometimes I wish to add a PDF or a voice note to my to-do, which is still not feasible. So another PowerPoint of reminder application is Smart List. If I wish to, I can convert any list to a smart list. And then once done, I can just go to setting, manage a smart list. And as you can see, I can add a lot of filters. So what I wish to see in reminder application, which is lacking. First thing, not a big deal, themes. I wish to see more themes. I know with Apple ecosystem, you're pretty much stuck with one theme and it's convertible to dark and light. But with third-party applications, you get a lot of themes, which you don't get here. You can't customize much of the icon also. Like for example, with Todoist, you have plenty of icons, which you don't have here. Not a big deal again, but I found these lines in between to-dos a bit redundant. I don't need this. I was comparing it to, for example, Things application, which is very minimalistic and a lot of people love it because of its UI. It doesn't have this kind of fluff and lines in between to-dos. Something minor again. Other thing, start date. I wish I could set a start date for each individual to-do, which I can't. And the most important thing for me is attachment. I can attach an image, but no file, no audio, just pretty much stuck with the image. Next is Note application. I personally migrated from Evernote to Bear and from Bear to Apple Note. And I'm using Obsidian simultaneously for work purpose because I need Markdown and a way to quickly capture notes and make connections. Note application has tags, has folders, which basically give you a 2D way of organizing your notes. It has annotation, which helps a lot of students using it. And something which I found really useful is ability to record your note using voice memo and copy the transcribe over to Note. You can drag and drop also any audio note to your Note application. I didn't see much drawback and downside to using Note application in compared to other note-taking applications, other than the UI, which basically consistently boring across all Apple ecosystems, and also ability to import and export notes, which is a bit lacking with Note application. And I also had a tough time getting used to organizing notes in Note application. It was purely because I was using Bear application, and in Bear you can just attach a tag to a note and it automatically categorizes the note for you, and then remove the tag will remove the note from the category and push it into untagged. You can have multiple tags with sub-tags, which basically is your subcategory in Note. This way of organizing for me mentally had a little bit of getting used to. So you need to be aware of it. If you're coming from Obsidian or Bear application, and if you're using sub hashtags as categories and you are using it a lot for search, you might find a little bit of tough time getting used to this style of folder and just a flat tag organization. Next is the journal application, and I was a little bit skeptical to include this application or not because it's still not there. It's like a half-baked application and it's nothing compared to Day One or Journey. But since I wanted to stick with Apple ecosystem, I tried to compromise a little bit to see if this application become any useful. The UI is very basic, so it gives you a linear layout with some additional features. For example, if you go here to Insight, you should be able to see a calendar which marks the days that you took journal, and it highlights them for you. But it's nothing more than that, and it's still not there. I would say it's very tough. For example, if you create a journal back in a date that you don't remember, and if you want to go there, you have to scroll down all the way. It's nothing like a location-based or, for example, a calendar way with a tiny photo image that could remind you which date you took which photo or what did you do. The only thing that I found here useful was suggestion, introduction of Siri suggestion, which a lot of third-party applications like Day One also started to implement it, which basically puts journal out of the picture completely. And the fact that it's only available on iPhone is a deal breaker for a lot of people. But yeah, it's there and you can use it and see for yourself it's usable for you. But I want to also remind you that be very careful and study a lot about this application before you put your valuable memo and journals into this application, because there is not a proper method to import and export your memo and journals. So, I mean, in the near future, if you see yourself wanting to migrate to a different application, you're going to face some trouble. So I highly advise you to think about it before you do it. All right, overall, let's see what you get with Apple ecosystem, which is a plus point in compared to third-party application. First of all, something that is very useful, and I've barely seen anybody talk about it, is ability to drag and drop. Let me show you what you can do with the drag and drop. So for example, here I have a note. I can just grab this note and go to my reminder application and drop it here. And I create a reminder based on the note for myself. And then I can create a new reminder here, for example, and go to my calendar application and drop it anywhere on the schedule to create myself either an event or a reminder. So again, from the calendar application, I can drag that and drop it anywhere on the notes to seamlessly create a note from that event. The only thing that is basically not played here, is out of the picture, is journal. Journal doesn't accept any drag and drop. This is also feasible if you, let's say, do a multi-select and go to your note application and drop it all. You can see with multiple select also, you can do a lot of things. Another useful feature was, for example, with voice note, you can drag a voice note and go to your note application and drop it to your note. And you can see that this is now attached to your voice, to your note. You can do the same to your event, but not reminders, because reminder doesn't accept anything other than image. Now let's go do something else. With this voice note, I have a transcribe. I can just tap here. Let's say I quickly captured it from a meeting or a classroom or something. I can copy the transcribe and go back to my note and paste it here. So other than this, with Apple ecosystem, you will get the seamless background refresh, which means that if you close your application completely, shut it down from the background, your application still syncs across all your devices. Not like other third-party applications, you have to open it and let it update. You will also get much better Siri integration and shortcut and widgets from Apple ecosystem. And I'm sure with Apple Intelligence, we will get a lot of features to these applications which make running these applications much fun and better compared to third-party applications. Overall, I understand that this topic is kind of hot right now and it might create a lot of debates, and I hope it does. Let me know if you have any questions and I'm happy to answer. Hope it was useful for you, and if you were considering Apple ecosystem, you gained some knowledge from this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.